So hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video I want to answer the question on if you can use Apple's AirPod Pros as hearing protection in your lawn care business. So the quick and short answer of this is yes and no. So let's get into it. So in 2019, Apple introduced the AirPods Pros. These were a follow-up to their highly popular and successful AirPods model. These AirPods were the very first truly wireless in-ear bud type wireless Bluetooth headphones on the market. And since that time, this design has been duplicated by numerous other companies, including the popular IsoTunes models with their Freeze that I have here, where you have your in-ear wireless Bluetooth earbuds that sit inside of this sort of clamshell type charging case. So if we pull one of these out and compare it to the original, you can see that the earbuds themselves are a lot fatter at the top. They feature a molded rubber tip. And the AirPods themselves come with 3 different sizes of tips, so you can really get a custom fit on these, and they'll pretty much fit anybody's size ear canal, where the original AirPods were more of a one-size-fits-all, and that didn't always work. And that was my biggest issue with the original AirPods, was that in my particular case, my left ear canal is a little bit larger than my right ear canal, and the left ear pod would always fall out of my ear. I'd even on a regular walk would constantly be every few seconds having to put my hand up to my ear to adjust the AirPod back in my ear because I could feel it slipping out. The right side wasn't an issue with that, a bit tighter fit with a smaller ear canal. Now with the AirPods Pro, because of the different sized rubber tips, there's a small, a medium, and large that come with them. You really get that custom fit. It fits in your ear canals fine. And because there's quite a bit of play there with that rubber tip, they just fit nice and tight into your ears. Even in my case, where I have one ear canal slightly larger, using the larger tips for me, fit in there perfectly. And I have absolutely no issues with having to constantly adjust or push the AirPods back in place. In fact, I've gone for over 2-hour walks with these in place and have not had to adjust them at all during the course of the walk to prevent them from falling out. So Apple has a lot of technology built into the AirPods Pro, and if you're already an Apple iPhone user, you'll know, the sort of wizardry that's in these particular headphones. Right from the beginning, when you're pairing the headphones with your particular iPhone, and the way they sort of magically seem to switch between devices, with that one pairing onto your account of these AirPods, they'll already know if you have an iPhone, an iPad, a Mac, and all those sorts of devices, and you'll be able to connect these effortlessly among all those different devices. They also feature a very cool, automatically on design. So when you either pull the case out and you open the lid, they automatically turn on. When you put them in your ear, they automatically connect to your iPhone. And if you pull them out, they will automatically pause whatever it is that you're listening to. Put them back in the case, and they automatically turn off and disconnect from your iPhone. So super convenient. Gone are the days of having to sit and press the power button each and every time you're waiting to connect, and then remembering to press and hold or disconnect the Bluetooth to make sure you've turned off so that you're not draining your batteries. Now, speaking of batteries, With the AirPods Pro, you get 4.5 hours of listening time on a full charge with the AirPods themselves. But the battery case that you see here will hold up to 24 hours of charge time. So that means you can, put this case on the charger, charge it up, and every time you put these AirPods back into the case, they're topping off that charge as well. So that makes it super convenient if you're using these all day. For me, in the past month or so of using these on a daily basis in my lawn care business, what I found is I'll put them in, work for the entire morning half of the day. I'll take a break for lunch, basically, grab something to drink, and in that time I'll take them off, put them back in the case, use the washroom, have lunch, that sort of stuff. And then when I go out to start the afternoon, pull them out and go for another 4.5 hours or so. And I've never had the need or had it tell me that the batteries are running out. So super convenient as long as you remember to pop them in the case for a few minutes. They'll do really good. Now, speaking of that, they do have a quick charge function on the AirPod Pros themselves. So what that means is if you do run into a case where you forget to pop them back into the case during lunch or something like that, and you start getting that audible signal, sort of a beeping noise telling you that the batteries are running low, what Apple's done is if you throw these back in the case for 5 minutes, they do a quick charge feature, and they will give you up to 1 hour of listening time on that 5-minute charge. And then they go into sort of a longer, slower charge after that first 5 minutes of sort of a rapid charge to give you a prolonged battery life over the life of the AirPod. So you can always throw them in there for 5 minutes and get up to an hour of listening time, which is super convenient. So let's talk about some of the main features of the AirPods Pro versus the regular AirPods. Now, of course, with the regular AirPods, they were just basically headphones. They had no noise isolation or active noise cancellation, but that is the biggest feature that the AirPod Pros now employ in their design, is that they have active noise cancellation. So they've actually got a couple of different settings. They have a regular or off mode, which basically acts like the original AirPods, where it's basically just music on or off. And then they've got two sort of special modes. They have a transparency mode and a basically noise cancellation mode. So in transparency mode, you'll notice on the AirPods themselves that they've got a couple of microphones, one right there and one out there. So basically when you have these set in your ear, like such, the microphones there on the outside in that transparency mode are also picking up your surroundings around you. So if you're going for a walk, or you're on a bus or something like that, and you want to be able to hear the people around you, you don't want to be taken by surprise or anything like that. If you have them on transparency mode, what it does basically is that it takes the outside noises and it pipes them in through the headphone into your hearing, and basically mixes it in with whatever you're listening to, whether it's music or podcasts or whatever it is. So you can listen to that, and basically it just enhances your surroundings so you can hear everything around you. Now, in contrast, they have active noise cancellation as well. So if you turn that feature on, what it does is it uses those same microphones to pick up all of your surrounding areas, and what it basically does is it blocks out all of that noise that's in your surrounding area, and makes it a lot more quiet so that you can focus in on what you're listening to. So this is great for situations like being on a noisy aircraft, or in our case, for in a lawn mowing business where you're using noisy pieces of equipment. where you can pop these in, turn on that noise cancellation mode, and basically what it does is it lowers the volume of those very noisy lawnmowers and backpack blowers and string trimmers, and it makes it very easy to listen to what you in fact are listening to. Now, noise cancellation has been around for a long time, and it basically works by those microphones on the outside taking that surrounding noise and taking the basically the sound waves that are created by sound and inverting them to create the negative effect. So if you have a sound wave that has like a peak, the noise cancellation will take that sound and reverse it so that that peak is now a negative of the same contrasting decibels. And by having that sort of surrounding noise along with the AirPod producing the negative version of that, those two sounds cancel out each other and you get that silent type sound. And basically, it cancels out all that noise. So what Apple does too is they have that sort of, with those interchangeable rubber tips, they have that sort of custom fit. And they have a actual, in the settings of the AirPods, there is a section there where you can test the fit of the particular earbuds or rubber tip that you're using in the AirPods, and it basically just runs through a test to ensure that there's a good seal there around your ear, and it'll report back to you whether this is a good size of rubber tip for you to use, or the correct size rubber tip for you to use to be able to use the active noise cancellation to its fullest benefit to yourself. So like I said, I've been super impressed with these AirPod Pros, using them in a noisy environment. In fact, using both the transparency mode and the noise cancellation mode has been fantastic. Normally, in different situations, like when I'm mowing, if I've got regular, over-the-ear headphones, or I'm using, some other earplugs or something like that, they work great for the mowing section. But if a customer comes out to talk to me, I have to pull them out. If I'm getting into my car and I'm listening to, say, a blue podcast over the headphones, I have to then switch to the car radio to continue listening to that podcast during my trip. So with the AirPods Pro, because they have that transparency mode and noise cancellation mode, what I found being super convenient is that during the mowing and using that really noisy equipment, I keep it in the noise cancellation mode. That of course blocks out all the other noise. I can listen to just the podcast while I'm working. It does allow you to hear a little bit of the mower. It doesn't completely go silent, but enough to hear the RPMs and all the stuff you'd want to hear while you're mowing. Without it being overbearing and super loud. It's just sort of there lightly in the background. But then if a customer comes out to talk to me or say something like that, what Apple has done is there's a couple of buttons built into the stem of the AirPods, and if you squeeze the stem there, it depending on how you're squeezing it, it does different actions, and some of them are customizable in the settings. So if you squeeze and hold, you basically switch between the different modes. If you just give it one squeeze, it pauses whatever music or podcast that you're listening to. So if a customer comes out and wants to talk to me, all I do is I give it a quick squeeze, that pauses the music, I squeeze and hold, and that switches from noise cancellation to transparency mode. Now I can hear all my surroundings. The customer's talking to me, I can have a full conversation with them with no degradation in volume or having it hard to hear them or anything like that. Whatever they're saying is going into the microphones and piped straight into my ear. So very easy to have a conversation without having to remove the AirPods themselves. So it makes it super easy. Customer finishes, talking to me. They, go about their business. I give it a quick squeeze and hold, switches back to noise cancellation mode, give it a quick squeeze, the music or podcast starts to play again, and I get back to work. So very, very easy. The other thing that I do now with these is that when I'm finished working, I keep the podcast or music playing. When I've got everything loaded up and I'm ready to go on to the next property, I just do another squeeze and hold, switch to transparency mode while I'm driving my vehicle, and I can hear all of my surroundings. I can hear if there's an ambulance or police car coming behind me. I can hear the traffic around me while I'm driving, while still having no interruption or disruption in the music or podcast that I'm listening to. And get to the next property, squeeze and hold, back into noise cancellation mode, and start the noisy equipment and get back to work. So they've been absolutely fantastic, especially here in the summertime. It's currently July, heading into August. We've been getting some really crazy, record-breaking hot temperatures here in the Pacific Northwest, and it's been a joy to be using the in-ear buds versus an over-ear style headphone, and just having that extra heat and stuff just around your head, having just the little earbuds in there and having that true noise cancellation has been fantastic. So at the top of this video, I said that, can you use the AirPod Pros as hearing protection? Yes and no. So we've covered all the good. So where is it that you couldn't use these as hearing protection? Well, Apple doesn't actually say that these are hearing protection. They're not certified as hearing protection or anything like that. They're not OSHA certified or anything like that. So that's where you're going to run into issues. If you're a self-employed owner operator type lawn care business, then if you want to use these as your hearing protection, then I'd say that they do a pretty good job. But just remember that they are not truly listed or sold as hearing protection. So there is a chance that just the way the technology works and that you could be damaging your ears while using these. In other situations, if say you have another type of employment where you have to use say OSHA certified hearing protection, well, you're not going to be able to show up to work with these AirPods Pros and show your employer and say that you've got hearing protection, because there's nowhere on the box or in the specifications that list that these are OSHA certified. So you're not going to be able to get away with using them in that sort of situation. Now, in other situations where these work best for noise cancellation is if you have long, steady noises. So like the lawnmower, for example, or the weed eater or the backpack blower. If it's a long, sort of steady noise that you're trying to block out, then these work exceptionally well for that. Where they don't work really well is if you have quick noises. Say you want to try and use these at a gun range, and you're shooting off a pistol or a rifle or something like that. Because it's a quick, unexpected noise, and you're relying on electronic noise cancellation, you're relying on the AirPod microphone to be able to pick up that noise, invert the sound to cancel out the other version. That gunshot can be a lot quicker than the AirPods can react to. So you're not going to get the same effect. It might dampen the noise a bit, but you're not going to get the same effect as using, say, noise isolation like memory foam tips or over-the-ear style hearing protection. So you want to keep that in mind for a long, steady noise where it can hear that noise and it can cancel out that noise, even if the latency of how it produces the negative version of that sound is off by a bit. Because it's the same steady noise, you're going to get that same maximum cancellation benefit. Whereas, if that, a quick pop, an explosion, a gunshot, that sort of, loud noise happens, if there's any sort of latency happening for the AirPod to be able to create that negative version, if it's off just a little bit, well, the damage is already done, right? That noise has already gotten to you before the AirPod's been able to cancel it. So you just want to keep that in mind. With some of my research I've done, checking out some other people's videos on the AirPod Pros and using them at gun ranges, they say that they do work in certain situations like outdoor ranges and stuff like that. But it's just something to keep in mind that it is not really listed as hearing protection. So ultimately, you're using them at your own risk. But so overall, I think the Apple AirPods Pros work exceptionally well for a lawn care business to use them. If you're looking for something that has active noise cancellation, and I think that they work great. But just remember that you're using them at your own risk, because ultimately they are not listed as any sort of certified hearing protection. So that's it for this one, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you use Apple's AirPod Pros as hearing protection in your lawn care business. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.